In this lesson, there's one last thing I want to talk to you about with regards to tables here in OneNote, and that is the ability to move some of the contents around inside your table, move the table itself, and even resize it. We're still working with our user conference notebook from the previous lesson, so if you've been following along, you're ready to go. If you've jumped to this lesson, though, and you've got the exercise files and you'd like to follow along with me, go to the Lesson 4 folder and open up UC 2008D. Click on the to-do list section and you'll see what I see down here below. First thing I'm going to talk about is moving some stuff around inside the table. Notice we've got a list here: David, Karen, Sam, and Paula. Well, maybe I want to rearrange these names. You'll notice that as I move along these rows, something appears off to the left here. And it looks like a little four-sided arrow, and when I move over to that four-sided arrow, my mouse pointer turns into a four-sided arrow. So for example, if I want to move Karen down below Sam, along with all of Karen's responsibilities, all I have to do is be in this row anywhere, go over to that little move icon, click and drag down. What you're going to see is Karen move down with her responsibilities. I'm going to put right down here below Sam, but above Paula, and let go. And I've just moved the entire row. That's one option. Now I'm going to talk about moving the entire table. Now we already know that when we create objects, whether they be notes or tables or even tasks, we see this frame around the outside. Now if I go to the frame and right at the top here, hover over the edge of the frame, I see the four-sided arrow, which will allow me to move the entire object. So as I click and drag, now I'm moving the table all around the page. I'm going to move it up here a little bit. There we go. You also have some other options when you right-click on a table. Now the table doesn't have to be selected like this. If I just go up near the border, for example, and right-click, I'm going to see the entire table get selected, and then I've got options for moving and resizing. If I choose Move, I'm actually ready to start moving this around just by clicking and dragging. So I don't have to go to the edge. It's ready to move. If I right-click and go down to Resize, I'm ready to resize it. Now resizing the table means clicking and dragging from the edge. See that double-sided arrow? I'm not going to resize the table itself, but rather the frame. So typically what's going to happen when you right-click inside a table and go to Resize is you're going to see the double arrow appear on the right-hand side. You don't have to choose Resize to do that. Just move to the edge and then just click and drag. And you'll see the frame size change, which then allows you to go inside and start changing the size of your table by increasing, for example, the widths of these columns. I'm going to do that with workshops, with responsibilities, guest speakers, just spreading it out a little bit, and social event. Now look what happens when I go further than the border. It actually moves with me and moves back. So I'm going to go to about there. And I've got a perfectly sized table, and the frame around it is perfectly sized as well. I can click outside the table to deselect it to see the end result. So there's my table. I was able to rearrange some of the data inside the table by moving rows around. I moved the entire table around my page and even resize it thanks to the ability to resize the frame.